Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? This is Spook, and this is the Spook video on Neofeud 2 coming out next week and other things. Also, Neofeud 1's on sale, so don't forget, if you haven't got it yet, now is a great time to run and skip on down to the Steam store and get yourself your very own retro cyberpunk adventure game, Neofeud, as it is 70% off, especially given that the sequel is coming out very soon, very soon. I said next week. That way, I put a hard line on that for myself. Put a hard deadline on myself. But yeah, anyways, I said March, and it's now March 21st, so I have 10 days. Yeah. So long story short, I'm still working. I'm now trying to just not stream too hard. But I can't work the whole freaking day outside of like eating and doing other responsibilities to the family and such. So, these the videos and streams are going to be probably a little bit shorter than usual because I'm just trying to get this thing done. So, anyways, I'm going to try to make this more interactive because this is just mostly like dev updates nowadays, and some other. Just talk about some other random topics and other games. I try to talk about some games on this channel nowadays because it's supposed to be some kind of game dev or something. So I should probably know the industry in which I work. Anyway, long story short, what is this? Any news? In case you don't know, Neofeud 2 is going to come out to itch. This is really more I would say it's like a soft launch. I'm not doing a ton of promotional marketing at this point because of I don't have the energy to do all that. I have barely enough energy to finish the game, so I'm trying to get it done, get it out there. People have played it, so I know that the game has you can get through the first half of the game without any problem. I have multiple people report that they got to basically in the first half. I estimate the first half, if you play it and you don't like skip through the information and skip through the scenes, just like fast forward through them, it should be about 10 hours. I'm going through our own playthrough with our we have kids here, and they're doing their own test, alpha test playthrough, and it was 3 hours approximately for the first few scenes. So the first half should be approximately 10 hours, but if you go quickly, you can get through in half the time maybe. You just like read all the dialogue. You don't actually play the scene through. You kind of like fast forward to it, which apparently some people do that. Which is like it's up to them. But I mean, we did spend. I mean, a lot of the time is voice acting. Spent about a year getting the voice acting for this game. It's 140,000 words of dialogue. Every single one is acted. Basically everyone is doing like some kind of dramatic acting. Unfortunately, we only have English, so we don't have. I don't have the capacity to do this, and some can barely get this game done in one language. Getting it done in 190 languages, you can it's just not gonna happen right now. So, but long story short, it's but it is it's a game that does have full voice acting. It does have full it's music, sound, voice acting. It's compatible with as far as I know, 5-year-old $250 laptops from Walmart. That's according to our tests. I'm trying to gauge. That's part of the testing, is gauging what the minimum specifications are in terms of RAM, processor, hard drive space, operating system. So I'm trying to gauge that right now. It's hard to really determine those things till you're actually running the game. So yes, I'm gonna try to check the chat now because I noticed I started late. I noticed the stream is starting a little bit later than usual. I'm trying to start them around 12 or earlier, a little close to 12. But I was working on Neofeud 2 this morning. I really wanted to get that little bit I was working on completed because it's a lot of final. I'm kind of deciding the final cut on things right now. So when I had all that in my head, it's kind of like directing. It's like the director choosing and finalizing each scene. So there's a lot of creative somebody in another stream was talking about like who's the lore manager for Neofeud 2. I was like, there's like, well, who's the lore management team? I was like, people have lore management teams. Like developers have lore management teams. Like I do everything. Like I like the lore, the everything. All 700 pages plus another 1,000 pages of lore is all in my brain. Like what lore manager, you know? And then I do the programming. All the programming is also in my brain. The lore is all in my brain. All the music composition, all like 3 hours of music from Neofeud 1. Neofeud 2 includes Neofeud 1 soundtrack plus Neofeud 2 soundtrack. Oh, on the sound, I actually composed. I just worked on some new music this morning. That was part of what I was doing. I was so altogether, there's like 3 to 4 hours of music in Neofeud 2, and I was actually like, shoot, I wish I had even more, but it's I want to have like new music in every scene, but for 20 hours worth of game, that's a lot of music. So but anyway, the music composition is also in my brain because I have to make it all. The sound effects, what goes where, I was just working on that. So who's saying what at what time, what kind of tonality in terms of what kind of emotional valence should each scene have? That's like, which the musical cues, the musical vibe, if you will, right, is going to alter each scene. So that's something I've got to really think about. This scene has to be foreboding, not like happy or flirtatious or surprising, right? It has to be a deep sense of dread and foreboding specifically, because that's what I'm trying to evoke. So, but that's something that's probably a bit unusual, because that's like usually you have like I guess if you do have a bigger team, you have people that control story and specific subsections of the story, and a lot of modern entertainment projects, movies, games, shows, right? And they're like, you deal with the lore for this, right, region and these characters, and you deal with the lore for these characters, and you deal with the lore for that characters. The director has to kind of conduct this orchestra of all these people coming together, the writers, actors, the music composition, the lighting, the effects, the props, the action sequences, stunts, all that kind of stuff has to come together. But like, for me, it's like, I mean, I'm doing that really, but it's all like, not quite multiple personality disorder, but sometimes it feels like many personalities in my head have to like talk to each other about like, the composer is like, what music do we need? And then the part of my semi schizoid brain is like, we need the director is like, we need something foreboding, and the other part of my brain is like, let's search through all the music folders we have that communicates that feeling in auditory oral sense. Also like cinematographically, what lighting should it be? Because you can change fades, you can change like the in the game you can play with certain effects. Should this scene like have like a earthquake shaking camera a bit to it to make it increase the surprise of this? Is that too much? So that's the kind of stuff I'm like thinking about now. But it's kind of it is a lot. It is that's why I kind of like, I want to get it all done, and then like, if I'm like on a roll, I gotta like get it done, because it's like to open up all that. Like, who is this character in this scene? Who is that? What is Protege, the $6 billion baller, doing in this scene? What is Princess Sybil, Clinton Bush, the ex-trillionaire, ex-neo-feudal royalty turned anti-capitalist revolutionary? What is she thinking about in this scene? Is she like having a bad hair day? Is she like science fictional space communist revolutionary / clueless mall Princess Sybil? That's a little more comical. Or is she like also space revolutionary, but like intense, emotionally sincere, like Claire Danes at her height of acting, which is not Homeland. Is she like Kate Blanchett in like a prestige TV show, or is she like Alicia Silverstone in some 90s comedy? Like what is her tone? Because I have multiple takes from Sybil is played by in this game is played by our Mexi of Positive Leftist News, who was a really great progressive YouTuber that you should go follow. But she has multiple, because when I was directing her, I was like, I need one, because the tone changes, right? Sometimes it's a little more comical and satirical. Sometimes it's extremely satirical comical, but sometimes it's more like, this is serious. We gotta tone down the Valley Girl, like 90210. Like, you're not dating and you're not trying to date Luke Perry. Okay, you gotta calm that down, and we gotta take that out, because otherwise it's gonna spoil the scene. So anyway, long story short, so that's like the directorial story management, and conducting the cyber digital interactive cyberpunk orchestra. That's that stuff. It does take like a lot of energy to finalize it, and it's also like pressure, because like, if you blow this scene, people might not like your game, or like you spent like years working on this one scene. Like literally, I might have spent like months and months on, in terms of the art, the writing, like things culminating to an important part, and this is the end of the game I'm working on, so everything is important. There's a lot of important parts. All the payoffs are happening, so I'm like, is this payoff paying off enough, or is this like a 5 cent, is this like a Nickelback? And I don't mean that in the sense of that terrible music that Holly hates from the George Bush era version of today's Imperial Collapse Iran war. I mean, Nickelback, is this like a cheap, is this payoff not, are you not getting enough back from all the investment you've put into this game? Or is this enough? It's always like, that's where it's like, that's part of why I need a deadline, because otherwise I'm going to sit here and hem and haw forever. And then and then we gotta just, you gotta finish this game though. You gotta just finish this game. And okay, anyway, I just been going off. Let me find the chat. Oh crap. Let me pop this out here so it doesn't overlap or that doesn't show up on the stream. What in the hell is happening now? No. Google Chrome, what have you done to me? Hold on. I don't want to split screen. How do I get rid of that crap? Okay. 1 sec. Okay. Anyways, look at the chat. What's up, comrade internet? Thanks for stopping by. That reminds me, I saw a video of a guy running Doom literally on a bunch of potatoes. Hey, how's it going, Coral? Running Doom on potatoes, like potato batteries. Amazing. You can run Doom on microwaves. You can run Doom on, some fridges, microwaves, pacemaker. I don't know about pacemakers, but I definitely seen microwaves. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let's move on though. Okay. So long story. If you have any questions about Neofeud 2 or anything else related to that, I'm trying to be more interactive, so you can feel free to ask those. So yeah, so Neofeud 2 is coming next week. Anything else going on? Yeah, that's a lot of what's going on though. Is I was just going through some of the finals. This is the final scenes. It's like the last 10 scenes, 10, 11 scenes approximately. And got some like major, like this payoff. Actually, this payoff is like, this is like a 15-year payoff, because this is like questions that arose in Neofeud 1 finally answered in Neofeud 2. So that's where like this, you cannot screw this part up. I don't want to allude to it too hard, but it's just like that. Like you go like Neofeud 2 takes place on multiple planets. Like it expands across the galaxy, and then these scenes are kind of like how did you get from Earth? Because Neofeud 1 takes place basically mostly on like what appears to be Earth, right? It's like Coastlandia City. It's like a cyberpunk dystopian. Not doing very great, like in this picture you're looking at, but it's like a cyberpunk dystopian city, kind of from like the slum / commoners groundling level to the the middle management, Carl Cobbin and his boss, and then the knights of neo-feudal capitalist quote unquote democracy that are the cops and the SWAT, that carry out the biddings of the ruling class. And then you go up and ascend into the stratoplex, floating city of upper class intellectuals, shuttling in their flying cars from golf course to aerial penthouse party, and just living their personal best lives at the expense of everyone else below. And then the extreme elite at the very top, right, is that in the Fulcrum Palace that is glittering golden Neo Versailles of the 0.001%, like the G7 attendees and Davos, the Davos crowd, and then the but Neofeud 2 takes place in like a wider. It goes across space and time, and it's a very like more vast world. It's more like Star Trek and Star Wars references, but it also has the cyberpunk edge to it. The Silver Spook specific cyberpunk edge to it, I would say. Not just the neon, but also deals with the resistance against corporations and the more emphasis on the punk. In like a tank girl, OG Dead Kennedy sense of anti-fascist, anti-corporate, anti-racism, etc., sort of ground level, gritty, angry middle finger to the quote unquote man, the quote unquote system. So, anyways, so it's Neofeud 2 takes place in that wider universe, but yeah. So it's like, but how did he get from there? How do you get from like Earth to this wider galactic scope and world? Like, what happened between the humans that inhabited Earth, right, under this terrible system? How did they go from the Earth system to a galaxy-wide, it's like a really terrible system. And you got Earth emperors to you got Earth imperial capitalist emperors to space imperial capitalist emperors. What happened? And also like who is characters like if you play Neofeud 1, there are mysterious characters who never speak. There's one in particular mysterious character that never ever speaks, right? And you don't like many questions. There's like a lot of intrigue in Neofeud 1. There's a lot of political intrigue. It's like Game of Thronesy, House of Dragony, like palace knife stabbing and purple weddings and red weddings and betrayals and vying for power. There's a lot of like Chinese dramas nowadays. Holly's watching some of these. It's a lot of court dramas that's in the background. That I like about Game of Thrones, and a lot that's at the expense of common people, right? And then there's a lot of like reveals and back and forth that happens there. I'm just trying to find the picture of this character, but there's some characters that you never learn anything about them. This is the Neofeud indie site. Oh, yeah, here's some of the old art. I forgot about this. Yeah, this is some of the old. This is the old Neofeud 2 mock-up of what could have happened in Neofeud 2. I didn't have the budget to do this epic anti-capitalist anti-neo-feudal revolutionary Star Wars scene. Didn't quite get the I didn't get the $20 trillion of Nvidia Saudi bucks. I don't know how their bucks is doing nowadays. It seems like their dollars are being de-dollarized, but I didn't get that big investment. So, sorry, let me stop double tracking myself. Oh yeah, one other thing that I'm trying to deal with is this is a scene from Neofeud 1 as well, the Garden of Forking Paths, and what exactly the Garden of Forking Paths is. Right? It's never explained. It's like, what is happening? It's just like, it's like the Eye of God / a black hole / some kind of eldritch Cthulhu-esque terror with tentacles coming out of everything, and then this, what appears to be conscious beings inside of circular matrix pods, twitching, and there's like electrical, neural constellations interacting via some kind of gnarly tree root system / literal galaxy-sized neural infrastructure. I don't know what's happening here, right? And I didn't want anyone to know what was happening there for reasons. And then in Neofeud 2, you find out what's happening there and like why it's there, what actually like where it came from. So I won't say anything more than that. But so that's why I'm like, these are like mysteries and questions that have been building up since Neofeud 1. and then they get answered in Neofeud 2. And I don't want the answers to, like, I want the impact to be maximum, but I also don't want it to be like I don't want to overdo it. So it's like, oh my gosh, okay, settle down. I don't want to George Lucas that, and like recut this thing like 60 times, and everyone's like, oh my god, buddy, who cares if Guido or Han shot first? As Harrison Ford said, it's a movie, and like, it's a video game. It's also art. I call it, this is, as people often say, or as somebody said once, and I need to keep up on what Gerald Horne says. Spook Games is like if Gerald Horne, the great black historian, made video games. So that's why I'm always watching his videos, because if otherwise I'm going to lose my Gerald Horne video game instantiation badge. So anyway, I'm joking, but I want it to be like, I want to have maximum artistic impact and like visceral and information, like you want it to like feel like, it was worth your time, but I also don't want to overdo it. So like, where's the line with that kind of stuff? It's hard to say. Anyways, long story short, let me get back to the chat. Make sure I don't miss anybody's chat. If it's questions about things. Hey, what's up, McClubbin? Thanks for stopping by. Positive leftist news is a good, uplifting, positive. Positive leftist news is the chemotherapy for the cancer that is doom scrolling. You know what I'm saying? Positive leftist news is the anti-venom to the poisonous techno king / wannabe space emperor owned social media algorithms that are trying to cyber narcotic you into numbness and inaction. So shout out to Positive Leftist News, and thanks a lot to Mexi for voice acting in Neofeud 2. Mexi did like a whole lot. She did like 13,000 words of dialogue. It's like 170 pages. Not all of it's her lines, but it's like 170 pages of the game has her words in it. She did like half a book, yeah. She did a lot of work on that. Holly in the chat, of course, is my partner here at Silver Spook Cooperative and also in Silver Spook Marriage, and also in Silver Spook. I am not a canonized priest. Wait. I am not sanctioned to conduct marriages. There's no Church of Silver Spook. Okay, I don't have cult followings. I'm not Singularity University in Hawaii. I am sorry. I said that weird. Long story short, Holly did a lot of voice acting. Holly did like about the second largest lined character after me, which is like 26,000 words. Mine was like 31,000. Nostromo, and Holly's one was like very close. And Holly also did several other characters, including a ordained. That's the word. It's what happens when you go to sleep at 3:00 in the morning. Holly plays an ordained Chromestian priest of the Deus Ex Machina church. Not to be confused with the Church of Deus Ex. That's just a bunch of internet weirdos. That some of them are unfortunately Elon Musk stands, and they play a lot of this retro game. Okay, that's a different church, not that church. Not to be confused with the Church of Keanu Reeves in Matrix Resurrections. Those are also internet weirdos that worship the creator of of Keanu Reeves' Thomas Anderson's video game. So anyway, sorry, I'm going off in too many directions at once. Okay, anyways, back to the game. I'm sorry, I didn't show the Garden of Forking Pass. Wait, where's the? What the hell? Hold up. Or is it on screen right now? It should be on screen right now. What's going on here? I'm sorry. My stream, my YouTube stream display is like behind. Okay. Anyway, so the Garden of Forking Pass is a thing. Yeah, so in Neofeud 2, in Neofeud 1, I don't know if you haven't played Neofeud 1, it's okay. Consider checking it out. In Neofeud 1, there is a what is that, right? Eat your emo tantrum throwing Jedi heart out, Kylo Ren. No, I did not just go watch Force Awakens and become miraculously inspired to mock up a gratuitously detailed splash image of Neofeud's nemesis. So, yeah, I think I was working on Neofeud when the Star Wars 7, 8, 9 films were coming out. But I remember I was like, I need some character that's gonna kind of have like a Darth Vader-y vibe to the character. And there's this character in Neofeud 1 who is enigmatically and not autonym, enigmatically entitled Aleph, and also has the Hebrew character Aleph emblazoned upon his is that gray sheep fleece? I don't know, who knows what that is. Is it parchment? Here's something you find out in Neofeud 2. Find out what Aleph's balaclava, find out what Aleph's hockey mask is actually made out of, right? Or what his face is made out of. So there's a lot of questions because nothing is really answered about this particular character from Neofeud 1. He's just always, the whole time he's very he's very ominous, mysterious, sometimes very threatening, right? But always silent. Right, it's like never speaks a single word the whole entire game. Neofeud 1, even though like he's pretty central to a lot of what happens in the game, but he never says anything. And so, who Aleph actually is, right, or at least you know that like that kind of questions. That's like a Neofeud. That's a 15-year arc. Because like who he was set up in Neofeud 1 has to be is resolved in Neofeud 2. And so that's where I'm like, I got to make this. I'm just working on that right now. Like right before I started this stream. That's why I started late. Because I'm like, what is the musical cue to reveal these kinds of things? I'm not going to give you any hints on that. But like, what does it need? Like it needs, but it's got to be impactful. It's got to be like significant. You know what I mean? It's got to be, it's got to be life changing. When you learn Aleph's true identity, when you take that discount plastic, it's actually made from neodymium, germanium, and refined antimony. And so that's why Aleph, because he's inaccessible because the United States and the collective West don't have any rare earth anymore. That's why you can't figure out who. I'm just joking. His mask is actually made from the enigmatic, mysterious elements. Refined rare earth metals, and that's also why he's really good at magnetic levitation, because he's literally made out of super magnets. He can levitate, he can project power, he can control reality itself. Apparently, it's unclear what exactly he can do. All kinds of things. It's not the Force. It's not the Force from Star Wars. That is some religious mumbo jumbo. No. Aleph has rare earth. Aleph has rare earth magnets, and as Xi Jinping said, none for America. So anyway, I'm joking. I'm not going to tell you what his face mask is made out of. While on the voice acting, that's a lot of work and effort. Yeah, there's a lot of voice acting and work indeed. McLevin, thanks a lot. Okay, let's see what else though. But yeah, so if you ever wanted to, that's a sell. Do you want to know what happened? You want to know who Aleph actually is? You got to play Neofeud 2, or you can watch one of my trips. You can watch one of my Twitch streams from 2023 when I live streamed all of it. But the nice thing about Twitch is it's all gone now. The internet is forever until enshiteification and encrapscapification. And giant mega corporations, don't want to hold mountains of video that they can't afford to hold anymore because they have to fill it up with shrimp Jesus generating, malfunctioning, badly programmed so-called AI. So anyway, you can't. There is a way to find it, but it's gone now. The only way to learn who Aleph is. Why is he wearing the symbol Aleph on his face? where did he buy the trench coat? Because they don't sell it at Hot Topic anymore. I can tell you that. I just checked. When we went to the mall yesterday. They still sell this shirt though. You know what I'm saying? But they don't sell that anymore. Not even Keanu Reeves has that from his Matrix circa 2003 Reloaded collection. You know what I mean? So where did he get that jacket from? Where did he get that? The only way to find the truth is to buy and play Neofeud 2. It's the only option you have now. Okay, anyways, I'm just being really silly. Okay, I'm gonna look at some more chat here. Okay. Okay, so anyways, yeah. So I'm working on that. Yeah, what is the what? So questions that are being answered right now, and I need to make sure the answers work out well. Is who is Aleph? What happened to the this is an old mock-up. The Borges, the artist formerly known as Borges. Something happens to him in Neofeud 1, and the lab. The last scene I was working on was also in the lab because there's some return to some of the old scenes. How did Dr. Gertzel, the doctor in Neofeud 1, right? This quote unquote genius scientist in Neofeud 1, how did he come to invent all these things exactly? Right? He's supposed to be the, I invented the crux of the royal's power, as he says in the trailer. The secret to consciousness, the meaning of life. So, how exactly did he come to invent all those things? Is another question in Neofeud 2 that is also answered. How does a superpositor work? Exactly. Where did it go? And all this kind of this was a lot of fun, this animation, and I got to play with this animation some more in Neofeud 2. So there's some recurring I'm not gonna say which exact characters recur, but obviously some of these characters, I just said you're gonna learn some of these things. So the characters that they have to at least be discussed. They may not all physically show up, but like the backstory and that lore does come back. This is the Aleph animation I made in 2015 or 16. I remember working on this animation like in between teaching my STEM class for like the underserved at-risk kids. I remember like working like in the air conditioned. Luckily we had some air conditioning in the Lego robotics lab next to all the beanbag chairs with all the poor Micronesian and Filipino and Hawaiian kids are all in between teaching Lego robotics. I was like, what if I assembled like a creature with like, because the kids will put together all these like random I taught like Lego robotics to like underserved, at risk, basically poor kids from the ghetto, right? In Hawaii, and they would have put together all these like interesting creatures, and they come out, made out of Legos, like a spider claw, and then a lobster tail, and then like a starship, as kids do when you're playing Legos. And I was like, what if I put together? What if there was like a there's like an artist with like a Warhol haircut, kind of looks like what could be Transformers. The Transformers multi-faced head, robot, and then a whole bunch of other jumbled together parts. There's a lot of characters in Neofeud that's like they're just pieced together from all kind of other discarded remains of other robots, which is part of the world. I mean, it's like I was like looking at that, another current events. DLSS 5 is this Jensen Huang levitating jacuzzi payment scheme, right? This is what CEOs are going to try to this is what the last capitalist neo-feudal elite are going to try to float their private jet mortgages with, right? I don't know what this is about, but DLSS 5 you've seen all these videos by now. It's like yassifying everything, right? It's just like it's a corpoizer ray. I think I had a specific review. Let me see if I wrote that down here. DLSS 5. One sec, actually, hold on. Let me get out of there. I said DLSS 5 is I didn't enter this. Oops. Sorry, one sec. DLSS5 is a Gen AI corporalizer ray and is anathema to me. I devote so much time to adding specific wrinkles, rust, and flaws to characters in Neofeud, etc. To smooth them all out would be a value remover. So that's like my take on the DLSS5 is like everything I do. I like add imperfections and flaws and rust, grimes, scratches, damage, mismatched parts. Like that, I'm like thinking about like how did this character come to be, right? It's like all their flaws, all their bangs and ding-ups that they can't afford to fix is what makes them who they are. Like there's a line in Neofeud 2 that's like, this robot was, where he was shock whipped across the face. He wears it like a badge of self, like a flag, right? And he's like a revolutionary tenant union organizer. Like the getting whipped in the face by the knight/cops that are the oppressor class, right, is like part of his character. To wipe that away, that would erase like everything about who that character is, right? As Luna Oi has a character that's like all the scars are that's my pride. Like this is the proof of my life. This is a proof of resistance. This is proof of existence, right? To scrub that all away with some like L'Oreal ad model face with like a pound of makeup on it, right? Churned out by ChatGPT-esque nightmare, broke wastes of silicon and wastes of semiconductors. What's that's it's just so anyways, yeah. Anyways, let me look at the chat. Okay, why is my video still down there? I'm trying to get this thing forward. Sorry, my YouTube live stream monitor is being weird. Okay, let me read the chat here. What's up, Aurora Terrorbird? Thank you for stopping by. I'm trying to focus myself and make sure I don't get too far off track. This stores has so much cool stuff. Yep. Is on the voice active for this and be eager to stream it once it's out. Well, thanks a lot for streaming Neofeud 2, which if you stream it when it's out. And yeah, Aurora Terrorbird does do a part in Neofeud 2 as well. So thanks a lot for that. Also, not quite the size of the Sybil or Holly's part, but it is a part in the early stages of the game. But anyways, okay, let me just think about what else we have to talk about. Oh, it's already 1:21. Oh, more questions answered. What happened to Talos? The 7 foot tall, possibly the cousin of the Shredder, who was somehow captured by the CIA and put into the MK Ultra 2 program, and bioengineered with the help of the sci-fi prop and costume designers who worked on Predator. So that's who Talos is. No, Talos is a escaped Area 51 project who got out of his lab that he was made in and has joined the Chrome Boys in a revolutionary, or at this point in Neofeud 1, he's part of this drug gang, the robot drug gang that traffics liquid crystal lithium, also known as crystal meth, not to be confused with crystal meth. And actually, drugs are actually pretty central to Neofeud, because I consume vast quantities of angel. No, just kidding. Drugs are pretty central. That's why I come up with all these wild ideas. No, it just comes out of my head. It just comes out of my head, and standing around while having excruciating back pain. Somehow, you start hallucinating when you're in that much. When you're in 12 out of 10 on the doctor questionnaire pain scale, then you just start hallucinating these kinds of things. Um, I'm joking. Don't torture yourself to get ideas. But yeah, anyways, so there's lots of the use of drugs, the selling of drugs, who controls drugs, right? The war on drugs, and like, is it a war on drugs, or is it just a method to control the masses, the particular more oppressed masses, as it has been in the United States for some time, right? And so there's a saying that comes up several times. It's also central to a lot of video game nerd nostalgia, which is winners don't use drugs, right? Neofeud starts and ends with that, basically. Winners don't. Neofeud is just a. So, but partially that's because like many other millennials, I played Nintendo games and Sega Genesis games that had the FBI warning, right? The FBI warning, right? This is back when the U.S. government even pretended to care about public health, as opposed to encouraging everyone to swim in sewage and contract cholera as much as possible. As RFK, as the current administration is like, say yes to drugs. Say yes to drugs. Just not the ones that Democrats are selling, but say yes to whatever you want to do, and say yes to cholera and say yes to drinking raw milk. So, anyways, but long story short, what became a protege? What became a protege and Talos, who is one of his friends. There's actually a short story. This might be another sale for other related Silver Spook products. Is the Neofeud short story collection, which actually has some sides. These are actually I wrote like 400,000. There's actually even more writing and that was around Neofeud before Neofeud began, and a lot of that's actually in the Neofeud short story collection. Some of the best like short stories I would write as a part of developing who these characters would eventually become. And so the Neofeud short story collection includes one about the protege, sentient machine, one of millions of quote-unquote defective prototypes mass-produced by tech giants, who winds up in a machine prison due to substrate profiling, who is then beaten, abused, and then teams up with the robo-convicts to jailbreak from the Supermax facility. It also has like backstory on the more about the neo-feudal world, and like there's a story called The Cost Popper about a low-born seamstress whose only chance to go from Cinderella rags to Kardashian riches is to be noticed by the elite in the cosplayer competition. This is like the Dubai influencer. It's poor global South climate / war refugee to LA, to Dubai pistachio chocolate influencer. It's like rags to ultra rich elite, Gulf monarchy bestie, pathway, and so this is Gulf monarchy / U.S. monarchy pathway. And so anyways, so these are some of the other stories set in the world of Neofeud that kind of even more fleshes out the world of Neofeud beyond what Neofeud 1 does, because these are like as I said, these are like stories that I used to figure out who these characters were. So like the protege story is a whole story I wrote before I even started working on Neofeud, to figure out what would this robot. It's part of it's about building the world in which robots are like these second-class citizens that are all being mass locked up, right, in the prison industrial complex, part of the police industrial complex of the former United States of America, right? That's just dissolved into just a mess after the global smash crash, and so then what drives the characters? How do they talk? Like, how does Protege talk? And characters like them talk, which is like it's a particular it's a particular robot inflected sub constructed urban dialect, but there's also so constructing that was part of the writing the story, to figure out how the like it's kind of, that's like part of, like, when actors research to figure out how their character is going to be, like when you're trying to portray Luke Skywalker, or you're trying to portray the Walter White in Breaking Bad, right? You like look up disgruntled teachers and cancer patients and drug people in the drug underworld. But so anyway, so there's a short story collection. There's also the Terminus Machina short story collection, and also Terminus Machina, the game itself, is also part of this universe. So actually, as I kind of mentioned this, there's technically already 1, 2, 3. There's 3 official Silver Spook games that are all in the Neofeud universe: Terminus Machina, Neofeud, and then Indigistar. And then there's Neofeud 2 will actually be the 4th game, but then all the short story material is all also part of this world, right? So Indigistar is another game that's set. It's set between Neofeud 1 and Neofeud 2. And then if you play this, it'll also enrich the world because there's reoccurring characters and places. Okay, anyways, let me look at the chat before I go too far afield. Let me come back to what I was supposed to be doing because it's wrapping this stream up soon. Let's come back to the chat here. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, Aurora Terrorbird. Okay, let's see. And but one other thing. I mean, I know I bring this up. I probably bring this up fairly frequently, but Terminus Machina, which is a Deus Ex total conversion mod I made several years back, over a decade ago. Also have a William Gibson podcast if you like cyberpunk. That's probably the biggest interview I might ever get. But Holly and I met through the William Gibson inner circle, inner sanctum. So that's some Silver Spook backstory as well. That's not Neofeud universe lore. That's just Silver Spook game company / cooperative lore. And let's see here. But Terminus Machina is another. It's free if you get Deus Ex. Deus Ex is I think it's 97 cents to 85 cents on Steam when it's on sale, which is a lot. It's a 20-year-old game. No, it's 26 years old. Almost 30 years old. And so Terminus Machina is a game that's it's a mod for it. And and the characters in and organizations like HexGen organization, which is a group of revolutionary hacktivists, socialists trying to take down these trillionaires and their exurbs defended by Gatling railguns, tactical nukes, and AI automated robot policing / military, right? It's trying to wipe out basically all humans resisting their oppressive order in the collapsed former United States. And HexGen is an organization that has members in Neofeud 2. And also Mixed Swifts. If you like Mixed Swifts, which has Mixed Swifts is going to be important nowadays because you see the austerity burger, right? The too big to fail burger, the hyperinflation wrap. That's what Americans are going to be eating soon, right? As the price of gasoline goes to $60 per gallon, slightly hyperinflated, slightly hyperbolic hyperinflation of the rate of inflation, but Terminus Machina was created in the time of the circa 0809 global financial crisis and the collapse and how the second shoe hadn't dropped and what the future could be holding shortly after that. And this is a Mixed Swift which is populated. So you have hyperinflation, there's a collapse of currencies, economic and financial crisis are central to Terminus Machina, and then also the robotics and AI automation of jobs destabilizing the society and how that impacts the society, culture, government, work, increases the tensions. There's people trying to destroy the robots, and the robots that are owned by the ruling billionaire class are then enlisted to basically crush the humans that are trying to and it really starts to break because the elite, as it is breaking now, unfortunately, because the elites who own and operate these AI and robots, like the OpenAIs, the NVIDIAs, the Microsofts, right, are the biggest tech imperialists. The U.S. Gulf monarchy, and all traders in all mega cities that have major capitalist classes. Anywhere where there's giant Dubai, anywhere where there is like Burj Khalifa sized towers or like World Trade Center sized towers, you have these class of people, right? And they're transnational. They live in the Richistan, right? And they don't really care about the humans who don't really want the data centers sucking their water and resources out of their neighborhoods, wherever they happen to try to build a data. That's why data centers, of course, are seeing all-time high resistance. But the elites they don't want to necessarily turn back on that, right? They're full steam ahead, any means necessary. And even though like nobody is making enough money to buy their products in a lot of these cases, right? You're not, but that's not stopping them from trying to shove AI and robots into everything, and even into there are currently there's a data center currently being guarded. There's a data center being guarded by robot dogs right now. The $300,000 robot dogs guarding massive data centers. Yeah, there you go. So that's Terminus Machina. Now the good thing is, I mean, the scale at which they can do this is not yet very high. That's the positive thing. But they do have the robot dogs guarding massive data centers. They're not. Thankfully, the collapsing imperial capitalist world moving into an AI robotics dehumanized world is not. I'm not saying it's dehumanized, but the people who would like that to happen, they don't have access to the rare earths and the capacity to generate electricity. They don't have any oil coming through Hormuz, natural gas, and they certainly don't have leading edge massive quantities of renewable solar, wind, and artificial sun, and other kinds of future methods of energy generation. They don't have access to any of that, or in industrialization. So that's the positive thing. Because I tell you what, I mean, that's what I saw in 2000s. Because I almost worked for one of these giant mega tech companies, or became as I like to say, a Goldman Sachs high frequency trading algorithm programmer, either a New York mega bank planet destroyer or a humanity destroyer, or a Silicon Valley / military industrial complex, AI automated robotic DARPA project planet annihilator. I didn't work for either of those, thankfully. Or just sign up for the military. You work for all of them. U.S. military. And so, but anyway, long story short, but I was like, this is not going to be good if what they want continues to be rolled out. That's part of what Terminus Machina was like looking at 2009, 8 or 9, and going like, this is going to be ugly. But in good news, in the bad news, it's not fully impossible, but in the good news, it's something that is more unlikely. But long story short, so Terminus Machina's world is going to be something that is going to be relevant to Neofeud 2 as well. Like the red sky also in Terminus Machina, the burning buildings in the red sky, right? That's part of the screenshot I grabbed is like not just the aesthetic and the setting of this kind of, I call it in situ apocalypse, right? It's like, as as the US is looking more and more like a Middle Eastern or West Asian country that it is bombing to get the oil and maintain petrodollar and imperialism worldwide, as the US starts looking more like a global South country is destroying, it's not necessarily new, right? It's just San Francisco starts resembling a Levant, not because it's many, right? A Levant area cityscape that's been bombed out and is being over policed, right? And even more surveilled, and not just surveilled, but like crushed and attacked. As the U.S. and Western countries start to resemble that, right? What is that like? As the imperial boomerang really boomerangs back home, what does that look like? And the Neofeud 2, like there's sections of the game that's like in that full collapse sort of phase. Now it doesn't like just stay there. It goes, this is collapsing, and now what do we be do? What we'll be doing about that as it implodes, right? As the price of gas reaches $10 per gallon, and your economy shuts down, and the upper crust doesn't answer that with revitalizing renewable technology and they have no real answer for it. And in fact, they just put more money to police, military, war, and AI and robotics in ad infinitum, and just become more repressive, right? So then, what do you do about that? And so, and that was what Terminus Machina was really about. And it's not just about like, because it's not just about there's a lot of cyberpunk that's like, it's not about saving the world, it's about saving yourself, right? There's a lot of post-apocalyptic fiction that it's not about saving the world, it's about war never changes, which is, wars that get fought, but it's also like, I don't really like want to leave people with that sort of, again, like Doomerang is a weapon of the elite and of oppressor classes to keep people paralyzed and inactive. So I don't want people to play Neofeud 2 and these other games and feel immobilized. You know what I mean? In that certain sense, because there's a lot of dystopian fiction that can do that. There's a lot of post-apocalyptic fiction that can do that, and I don't think that's very helpful. Cause as somebody that's trying to work on these problems and doing everything that we can under U.S. occupation as native hawaiian anti-capitalist worker-owned cooperative under U.S. imperial occupation here in Hawaii, with U.S. bases everywhere. Speaking of that, with Neofeud is just like, in one sense, just Hawaii metaphorically, right? Ultra rich, that's just the billionaire class from the U.S. and Japan and all around the world that buys up all our land and treats Waikiki like their personal resort city and uses us as servants, right? And has global imperial dominating. The general Wakakoke jobs is just the Pearl Harbor region. Cancerous growth of all these massive weapons and radars to make war on the world island that is Asia and control this entire planet through the Indo-Pacific Command. So Neofeud in one sense is just like, it's about the real world, but it's also about like, hopefully, and Neofeud 2, it's definitely, hopefully, like, this is what we need to do to deal with these problems. Because at the end of the day, it's not really something that can be dealt with through clever metaphors or discovering some kind of secret or at the heart of the universe or some kind of complex detective game. As fun and entertaining as those are, it's things that have to be done in order to deal with the systems. They're mostly they're hard to do, and they're not hard to do. They're just people are too comfortable to do things that need to be done, and so Neofeud 2 and Neofeud is capital PUNK cyberpunk in a sense that it's there to be entertaining, but it's also there to make you feel uncomfortable or a little bit more uncomfortable about relaxing into the unjust status quo. Like the silica scene in Neofeud 1, right? Or Protégé's character makes people feel uncomfortable, right? Just his existence. The front loading of all of the poverty and all of that's part of why I said like the DLSS 5, right, is anathema to Silver Spook Games, because like revealing the warts and the flaws and the sometimes beautiful but also the unnecessary ugliness of a place like the United States of America, or the collective West, or a capitalist system, or a racist system, or murderous policing, or a murderous imperial system that is committing massive war crimes everywhere, right? That's ugly, It's not pretty. It doesn't look like, again, an escort model. It doesn't look like a AI and slopified, plastic pretty face, right? That has no soul, has no meaning, has no history, has no culture, has no particular perspective, right? And is irrelevant to anything and everything, right? So Neofeud is all about all the specific wrongs, right? Not some glossed over perfect AI slop right. That is in itself the ultimate wrongness, right? It's about all the wrongs that have been done, and it's about realizing all of those and then making you feel, right? Part of the feeling of Neofeud is, right? Oh my gosh, why is this so ugly? Why are these horrible things happening? Why is there trash everywhere? Why is that house falling apart? Why is that guy having to weld his arm back together? It's almost like when I have to duct tape my cuts because I can't afford to go to the doctor and get stitches. Like that's the reality right? That Gen AI wipes away, right? They're not going to ever show you someone who's like, their makeup's all fucked up because they don't have access to like a good mirror because they sleep in their car, and they're a Gen Z broke worker, right? And they're like driving a Boots Riley, right? That's going to be ugly because America is ugly, because the West is ugly, because white supremacy is ugly, because the reality, a global imperial capitalist racist reality that everyone is allowing to exist, everyone, by simply being a little too comfortable to challenge the status quo, no matter how morally right it is to deal with all these problems, whether that's pandemic, whether that's climate, whether that's stopping your Epstein syndicate leaders, right? You know, and so the idea is making you a little more uncomfortable. Be like, maybe you should get on that, you know. But you can't do that if all it gives you. That's why. So AI corporal. So the Gen AI slop is there to comfort you, right? I know it's like doesn't make it makes you feel a little bit disconcerted, but it's there to wipe away all human history, right? So that a plutocratic neo-feudal elite can control history and sanitize it even more so than it was already being sanitized under human malice, human imperial capitalist malice, and then they can automate that process and just wipe everything away, and then all you'll see, right, is you know, the pretty faces, the meaningless pretty faces, and be numbed out of any action whatsoever, or any thoughts whatsoever. Ideally, just don't have any particular thought except maybe shop, but even that, just stare at a AI generated slot feed of everyone competing for eyeballs, and using Gen AI, making anti-tech billionaire. You know, because the AI billionaire, capitalist, imperialist, you know, death machine complex is all wrapped up together. Making anti-AI tech billionaire videos, but using Gen AI to generate thumbnails because you're competing with other people, and everyone's just like throwing everything into the slot blender, right? I think there's a real problem there too. I think where even if capitalism died, you still have people competing for attention, and people would still be. You know, there's other systems. People would need to get educated. People will have attention, and people will have things that they will want to do with their life. And you can control people by forcing them into mindways and pathways that involve weaponized large tech and data centers and algorithms, and weaponized software, or even forcing people into attention, like post-dollar, but still attention economic structures, which drive everyone to outsource their neurons, right, to someone else's pattern mimicry algorithms is what Gen AI is really doing. Then you that's another, that even if capitalism dies, you still have an alternate mass control mechanism. There's a Spook video specifically on that called controlled thinning, about, you know, that those are still going to be a danger. The biological hazards of viruses, pandemic, ecological crises don't disappear just because even you get rid of some of these systems, like a capitalist system, even a Western dominated system, doesn't mean that all the other problems of corruption, hierarchies, various kinds of supremacy, bigotry, sexism, they don't just vaporize, right? Like a Western dominated colonial capitalist structure was a major problem, but it's not the only problem, and it can and it will mutate. Or humans have flaws, like I already said, right? Like Protege having a Mega Man X like discount rusted robot prosthetic on one arm, and like broken pieces of coat hanger and rebar as his other arm. That's a flaw. But it's a flaw that it's a scar, but it's also, like, you know, it's not necessarily a malicious one, but another human flaw. But that's, you know, it's part of the flaws of humanity that we have. Or that's a flawed body that you might have. But then there's also, like, people aren't perfect in the sense that people make, and in large quantities could make really bad decisions collectively, right? And so these systems can mutate. And even if you root out certain ones, other systems can mute. Other quirks in mass human psychology, and quirks in human mass, you know, not necessarily psychosis, but in the mass human psyche, like the need to be seen, right? That's being driven by the need to be seen and validated, which is not unnecessary, right? The need for love and respect and to feel valid and funny and cool and interesting, right? And to feel like you're contributing something. And everyone all vying for that relevance, right? If it's not checked by like an understanding of like the systems that which are gaming everyone's attention economics that could exist even after capitalist economics evaporates. And that's a flaw, I think, in human. That's a kink. It's a it's not that we should like erase all human desire to be interesting or something like that, but it's something that has to be like dealt with in I think going forward. Anyway, I'm just like spiraling out into philosophical territory, but that's that's par for the course. Let's look at the chat. I gotta go soon. Robo dogs, man, that's goofy. Yeah, the robo dogs have been around for a while. I mean, DARPA had some robot dogs. Boston Dynamics. There was Now This Future, which is a now defunct website, I think, like over 15 years ago. Black Mirror has, that's all they do is make robot dog videos. I think half the content is just like, what if robot dog attack you, and the other half is, the other half is, what if we go in Matrix and it bad or it good in San Junipero episode. Anyways, okay, let's look at this. Okay, for the last little bit, let me just share. I didn't share any. Yeah, I gotta go. Sorry, late. Let me just share a couple little videos of in-game. So back to Neofeud. So long story short, Neofeud 2 is coming out. Get ready. Next week is coming out. That's how. This is called starting a fire. This is me doing my best Prodigy impression and being a fire starter. Not an arsonist. I mean, lighting a fire under my own butt so that I get this game done. Okay, that's why when I keep saying that over and over and over again, right? Like it's kind of like Beetlejuice, right? If I say it 3 times, Neofeud 2 Arise. It's coming next week. It's coming next week. It's coming. I just keep saying that. Then I feel more and more pressure in my own brain, right? Because I'm like, you just told everyone it's coming next week, and then if it doesn't come next week, you're gonna let them all down. That's how I counteract the other part of my brain. That's that hyper perfectionist part, right? That won't let me finish a scene. It's the other part of the game, right? You have to counteract your inner obsessive compulsive disorder brain with your inner social anxiety brain. You have to play them off against each other, and you have to balance these interests against each other. Okay, here's a scene from Neofeud 2 that I just shared. How does this thing work?
Illegal tampering detected. As a pseudo-sentient artificial consciousness deputized by Ghostlandia and hereby authorized to neutralize you until arrival of police. Cease and desist immediately.
Oh, son of a Sarlacc. I'm desisting. Ceasing. Sorry. What is this thing?
That's a bona fide paper book, made from pieces of flattened tree bark and all. It's definitely from Earth. Although I don't remember tentacles, rocket ships, 7-fingered captains, or coffee corporations in Moby Dick. This must be from the post-Arthurian explosion, when billions of people churned out trillions of rip-off books using language mimicry algorithms.
So anyway, so you meet some old friends, some old friends make a comeback. Obviously Princess Sybil, but also our good friend, the homicidal Sega Genesis looking power meter. Mr. Energenius, remember? Or I should say Mrs. or Miss Energenius, because she has a lady voice before she guns you down incinerates you and tases you at the same time. So that's a lot of fun. That's one of the best parts of Neofeud, is where you get shot, burnt, and electrocuted to death. I see people like laughing at that scene a lot, several people laughing at the death of poor Carl Carbon. How cool. No. This must be from the post-Arthurian explosion, where billions of people turned out trillions of rip-off books. So there's also Gen AI is definitely, Gen AI and the big techs are definitely on trial in Neofeud 2 as well, for sure. There's hard critique of the Jensen Huang, Peter Thiel circles, for sure. And then also, the Babelification of civilization via Gen AI results in homicidal power readers and rocket ships in Moby Dick. And then there's also, let's see what else we got here. I'm gonna have there's a couple of these new little clips that I put out there. Oh, that is Mexi playing Princess Sybil there. So thanks a lot to Mexi again there. Oh, if you haven't played Terminus Machina, if you want to learn who this character is, you gotta play Terminus Machina. The original Silver Spook. The poltergeist with the most anti-corpo heists. Okay? The Silver Spook, not me. I'm just the Silver Spook, the character from Terminus Machina, which Silver Spook games is based upon. The name comes from this character from my old game. And if you want to learn who Silver Spook is, you got to go back play Terminus Machina as well.
Yeah. If you say my name 3 times, I'm summoned into your home and will bio-exercise all your unwanted rich douchebags. Like Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice? Isn't that a big red star? How does a bloated ball of burning gas come into your house and get rid of rich people? Oh, you Gersh-turned kids nowadays, with your lack of Earth 80s movie knowledge and your 100,000 light-year civilizations.
So Silver Spook is an old man, Silver Spook is old. That's Neofeud 2, dealing with the generation gap. It's like the millennial, Gen Z, and Alpha generation gap, dealing with that. Which is different. Right? It's not really a generation gap. It's like dealing with, damn the kids, you gotta watch my 1980s Arnold Schwarzenegger movies so you can pick up on my freaking references. I can't afford dentures, that's why I talk like this. I think millennials still have at least half their teeth, probably, some of them. Couldn't afford dental though, so maybe not. The old man yells at cloud. Yeah. So Silver Spook is the anti CIA daemon background process on the system, the capital S system, the operating system of reality, right? Who is constantly, he's an old daemon hologram, right? He's an old background process that is constantly yelling at the capital C cloud, the cloud computing, the clown strike, the crowd strike / clown strike, global snafus, right? It says Silver Spook. Oh my God, you broke your entire system with the so-called antivirus software that caused every airport in Korea to shut down and all the restaurants to no longer accept credit card payments in Mumbai because you, oh my gosh, what did you do? So Silver Spook is a character that's like, because he was actually in Neofeud 1, he was a programmer for huge tech companies, banks, and the CIA and / NSA itself. So he knows all the ins and outs of the Microsoft systems, the Sun systems. He's like Edward Snowden's boss's boss. Edward Snowden. That's I don't know who that is. That's Edward Snowden, not to be confused with Edward Nord Stream. Anyways, no, he's Silver Spook is like, oh yes, like somebody's like, why? It's 200 years in the future. Why is the Western the Western surveillance metropoles, why is the future CIA and Mossad and all their data centers at Microsoft and Amazon, why are they still using floppy disks? Like, what is going on here? And so it's like, oh my gosh, don't get me started on that. They spend all their money and time inventing new hardware and software that's like some kind of encrop escaped and shit. It's enshittified 5 seconds after invention, or it's like a 7-finger shrimp Jesus generator. And they spend all their money on those projects. They fail, and you always got to come back to some like, I think there's like a system called like Windows, or it's like Winix or Windows. They come back to like some 300-year-old Windows, and there's only like five programmers who have their brains cryogenically frozen. We're like the original sysadmins from the 1990s, and they still use floppy disks. And they're just trying to not let those last 5 sysadmins, right, who still remember how to code because everyone else has AI outsourced their brain, so they don't have any neurons left. But all the AI broke, right? So the last 5 actually competent programmers who are still sapient, right, because they don't use ChatGPT to think for them. Those last 5 programmers have their cryogenically frozen brains trotted out, and they only can function with like Windows 95, and that keeps the entire Western system going. Right. And so it's like this. So Silver Spook is just like, unfortunately, they have these swarms of other AI robots that are semi-functional that guide their global imperial capitalist galactic empire. So we gotta deal with that bullshit. But anyway. Okay. Anyways, but long story short, Silver Spook, the character, who canonically wears a silverized trench coat with .999 fine silver melted down and infused into his coat. If you want to know how and why that, you got to play Terminus Machina to figure that out. So this is just a giant ad for all the Silver Spook products: Terminus Machina, Neofeud 1, Indigenous Star, all the short story collections, and the run up to Neofeud 2, and well, of course, this is the Silver Spook channel, so it's not really an ad. It's just what we're doing. And so, anyways, I should wrap this up though. Thanks. I think that was the last little update. There's other ones, but I think that's the last. Here, the last sapient coders in the AI apocalypse use the embers to stencil hex codes. The last sapient coders in an AI apocalypse use the embers to stencil hex code epigrams to each other. This is exactly relevant to what I was just saying.
Pile of broken and shot up furniture.
Also, new music.
I remember when the city looked like that. Seems like a lifetime ago. Let's take a closer look with this telescope.
I have that moldy burger. Oh shit! Too fast. So you have to know how to convert hexadecimal into ASCII characters. Okay, otherwise you can't play it. I'm just kidding. But there is the character Lith, the green-haired hacker girl. She can, in her head, convert hex code into alphanumerics and other such feats of not just of programming, but feats of using your brain. Like Liv also canonically is an archivist, right? She carries around with her a 2019 version of the entire Internet Archive, and multiple offline 0 Gen AI encyclopedias that are over a century old because everything else is garbage. And she has all the episodes of Firefly, the recreated TV show that came out in 2027. Hint, hint. And also she has every Alien movie, every Matrix movie, in a little thumb drive. It's like a 65 petabyte thumb, literally inside her thumb. And she has all the archives because everyone else has no brain. And then they destroyed themselves, and they use Gen AI, and it all falls apart. So anyway, So be like Liv. Winners don't use drugs. Like Gen AI. Okay, anyways, that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Yeah. Also, I'm not joking about drugs aren't drugs. Hey kids, listen to Mr. T. Okay, listen to Mr. T and Mrs. Lith. Drugs are bad. Okay, unless you actually have to use them like for a cancer treatment or something like that. Don't take the fentanyl home with you though. Okay. You can get Neofeud, which is on sale right now. Neofeud is on sale right now on Steam. Every sale does help us out at the Silver Spook Cooperative. It is a game that supports everything that we do here. It is a retro, anti-capitalist, anti-racist cyberpunk adventure game where a homeless social worker, an ex-con robot, and an ex-trillionaire / ex-princess under neo-feudalism try to overthrow a system of mass injustice and floating AI techno king gajillionaires dominating a increasingly wastelandified Earth beneath them, and it's about fighting those systems. And it's just a game that is currently on sale. The sequel, Neofeud 2, is coming very soon. Like as I said several times, next week. So. It's coming in March. I said it was coming in March last time, so that's even closer now because March has less than 2 weeks in it left. So yeah, Neofeud will run on. Hey, Neofeud also runs on 256 megabytes of RAM. Do you have 3 gigabytes of storage space? Do you have Windows 98? Do you have Windows 98 or higher? There we go. You can run Neofeud 1. So you can also, if you like Neofeud, don't forget to leave even a very short review because it does help us get the games discovered in the Steam algorithm. Greatly appreciate that. Of course, you can also grab Neofeud on itch.io for Windows, Mac, and Linux, along with games like Decolonators, where you literally just you directly fight oppressors. In the U.S. is currently going through a Vietnam War, in a catastrophic for its empire and its global reach and control, and reversing the petrodollar, which is the crux of a oppressive planetary Darth Vader empire on Earth. And Decolonators is a game where you actually fight. So Decolonators is relevant now because it's a game about fighting an empire and resisting by any means necessary, including with direct military action. And it also features our comrade Luna Oi, who is a great leftist comrade, and also features American Johnson and Fading the Cobra and Kate Nix as Mrs. The equally evil twin of Margaret Thatcher, Tina Thatcher. And Ninja Star is another game set between Neofeud 1 and 2 that fleshes out the world as well. And it's about an hour-long short game where an empire arrives on your planet to eradicate and plunder. And you must heal the land and people, prevent erasure of your native language and culture, and confront these invaders before it is too late. And there's also the Neofeud Short Story Collection, Terminus Short Story Collection. Woman is a book that Holly wrote that's critiquing. It's a very anti-RFK Jordan Peterson sort of book that is Holly wrote that. It's not inside the Neofeud universe, but it's another Silver Spook cooperative members product. There's also Pigeon with Gun, and of course you can also help us out at ko-fi.com/silverspook. Directly support us there, and you can also directly support us through patreon.com/Neofeud and get access to behind the scenes of what we're working on, Silver Spook cooperative updates, Silver Spook cooperative in terms of resisting U.S. occupation here in Hawaii from our native Hawaiian run cooperative, restoring our land and feeding. Hey, you know what's urea and fertilizers and other important products that are related to agriculture and growth of food is being jeopardized right now in the Strait of Hormuz. So what we've been doing at the Silver Spook Cooperative? Growing lots of food. So anyways, if you want to learn about that, if people want to we can share knowledge also about food specifically and growing food and like what you can do about that. All these tips don't necessarily apply everywhere, but we do. Like this is every single inch of our lawn that was a lawn. It was a lawn for capitalist curbside appeal. Every single inch of the current grounds that we are on we have planted all of it with some kind of food or medicinal plant. So food can go to $600 for a bag of a loaf of bread. Could go to $2,000 full Terminus Machina mode, full McSwifts mode. And we're ready for that. Of course, so anyways, this is something that we do. If people really want more Silver Spook, I would love to hear more about the cooperative and the ecological restoration, plus the indigenous agricultural and food security and food sovereignty work. That's a whole other thing we sometimes can talk about. But also make retro video games as part of what we do. If you want to support us, consider becoming a patron. You also get access to Silver Spook Discord and Silver Spook University, over 1,000 hours of all the content we have produced, videos, threads, etc., categorized by topics: economics, politics, history, science fiction, game specific, artificial intelligence specific, various regions of the world specific: Africa, Asia, the Americas, indigenous. I have many indigenous relatives, also native Hawaiian person, so very connected with various indigenous communities as well. So sometimes we talk about those struggles as well, and also, it's just basically the best that we can do to share. As I said, education is going to be a major point of contention and control as de-dollarization and the death of the Western-controlled imperial capitalist structure disintegrates. Education is still going to be people. If the dollar goes, people still need to learn things. So who writes the textbooks? Who determines education is going to be a big question mark. And that's one part of the reason why we did Silver Spook University, because I think that is going to be a major important action we need to take going forward to have a better world. So this is the best we can do right now. Just to give you as much as we can give that's relevant to the topics that are not going to be talked about in like a lot of mainstream schooling and educational facilities. Topics that won't be brought up, and so and we bring it up from obviously the kind of political angles that we come from. So this is one of the benefits is you can get access to this when you become a Silver Spook patron. Don't forget also to follow at Silver Spook Games at bluesky.social or at Silver Spook Guy on Blue Sky. We're also on Instagram, Mastodon, and Twitter, and all kind of other places. And so is Holly. Holly is on all these places as well. Like as Allergic to Blue, Holly is a partner here at Silver Spook Cooperative, our moderator, doing all this important sharing of important information, various management and domestic and work of all kinds here at the Silver Spook Cooperative. And so don't forget to follow Holly as well. And thanks to our Patreon patrons. Without your support, it's hard to keep doing this work. So thank you so much for your. Oh, also, I don't know if Holly is wearing something there. I don't know if you know what that is. Okay, FD Signifier just made a video relating to public health and those things that can drastically reduce contagions that are exhaled and inhaled. So shout out to FD Signifier also thanks for sharing that. He talked to Lola Germs, who is a cancer survivor, and talks about how the pandemic never actually ended and many other important things. So not enough people are sharing that. That's another major problem. Doesn't matter. Things can shift in the world. You can have multipolarity. You can have a really still sick multipolarity full of AI generated deep, major problems, right? So that's why we talk about more of those nowadays. And don't forget to stay healthy. Okay, just a little PSA. Our friend McLovin is up in here too, so I know is very adamant and is very much about that. So don't forget to also, if you have a second, if you can afford to, consider becoming a Patreon patron, and of course. Thank you so much to all our Patreon patrons. That's the end of the stream. And let me just double check the chat before I turn this off. Thanks a lot, Coral, for playing Decolonators. Sorry I missed that. And take it easy until next time. Keep your mirror shades polished, be excellent to each other. Whatever you use on your face, when you put on a face mask, don't use neodymium and rare earth magnet materials, okay? Because you don't have any. But you could use a KN95, N95, or what some other cloth material. But something's better than nothing, okay? But don't be like Aleph and you. I'm just joking. Have a good one. Take it easy.